I saw my husband on a dating app and decided to catfish him. I wasn't supposed to be on the app. Not really. My best friend, Melissa, had just gone through a nasty breakup, and I was helping her swipe. It was supposed to be innocent fun, a way to get her back out there without the anxiety of choosing for herself. We were sitting on my couch, wine glasses in hand, laughing at bad pickup lines when I saw him. My husband, Andrew, the man I had been married to for 6 years, the man who told me he loved me every morning before work, the man who, just last week, had planned a romantic weekend getaway for our anniversary. My breath hitched as I stared at the screen, my fingers tightening around the phone. "No way," I whispered. Melissa leaned over. "What?" I turned the phone toward her, my stomach twisting into knots. "Look." Her face morphed from confusion to pure rage. Oh, what the hell is Andrew doing on here?" Good question. A very good question. His profile picture was a photo from a hiking trip we took last summer, where he'd insisted we get a candid shot of him looking off into the mountains. His bio was short and to the point. Adventurous, easygoing, and looking for something fun. Swipe right if you love a good secret. A secret? What kind of secret? Was I the secret? My heart pounded in my chest, but I forced myself to stay calm. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe he made it as a joke. Maybe it was an old profile he forgot about. Maybe... Number, I knew better than that. Melissa was already fuming. "You have to confront him." I shook my head. "Not yet." Her eyebrows shot up. "Not yet?" "Girl, are you serious? He's cheating on you." I swallowed hard. "I don't know that for sure, but I will find out." She gave me a wary look. "How?" I took a deep breath, my fingers hovering over the screen. Then I swiped right. If my husband wanted to play this game, then I'd play too. I was about to catfish my own husband. That night, I made a new profile. A fake one. Her name was Lily. She was confident, flirty, and just mysterious enough to hook someone like Andrew. I used a picture of a model from Instagram. Someone beautiful but not too famous. Someone he wouldn't recognize. And then, I waited. It didn't take long. A few hours later, I got the notification. "It's a match." My stomach twisted. He took the bait. The first message came almost immediately. "Andrew. Hey, gorgeous. You have the most stunning eyes I've ever seen." I stared at the screen, my blood running cold. This was real. He was really doing this. And now I had to see just how far he was willing to go. I stared at Andrew's message, my heart thumping so hard it echoed in my ears. "Hey, gorgeous. You have the most stunning eyes I've ever seen." I clenched my jaw. How many times had he said that to me? How many times had I believed it? Melissa was beside me, gripping my arm. Okay. Deep breaths. What's the plan?" I inhaled sharply and started typing. "Lily. Wow, that's sweet of you to say. You don't waste time, do you?" He responded within seconds. "Andrew. Why waste time when you know what you want?" My stomach churned. Melissa gawked at the screen. "Oh my God. He's actually flirting with you. What a dog." I swallowed the lump in my throat and forced my fingers to type. "Lily. And what is it that you want?" He took a little longer this time, as if considering his answer. "Andrew. Something fun, something exciting. You ever meet someone and just click? Like you've known them forever?" A bitter laugh bubbled up in my throat. Was he serious? Melissa smacked my leg. "That lying..." I held up a hand, signaling her to let me think. "Then," I replied. "Lily, I know what you mean. It's rare to find something that just feels right." "Andrew. Exactly. You get me. So tell me, Lily, what's your idea of a perfect first date?" I hesitated. If I pushed too hard, he'd get suspicious. But I had to keep him talking. "Lily, I love surprises. Something thrilling. Maybe meeting someone mysterious for a drink and seeing where the night takes us?" "Andrew. Damn, that sounds amazing. I think you and I would have a very good time. Melissa let out a strangled scream and buried her face in a pillow. I hate him. I hated him too. Or at least I wanted to. I stared at the screen, at the words he had written so effortlessly. He was cheating, lying, flirting with a woman he thought was a stranger. I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to storm into our bedroom and throw my phone in his face. But I couldn't. Not yet. I needed to see how far he would take this. So I made a decision. Lily, what if I told you we didn't have to imagine it? What if I said we could make that night happen? Soon. The typing bubble popped up instantly. Then his reply came through. Andrew, tell me when and where. My hands trembled. Melissa gasped. Are you gonna meet him? I exhaled slowly. Oh, I'm gonna meet him. And when I did, he wouldn't see Lily. He'd see his wife. I stared at Andrew's message, my fingers tightening around the phone. Tell me when and where. Melissa grabbed my arm. This is insane. You're actually meeting him? I nodded, my throat dry. Yeah, I need to see how far he's willing to go. She exhaled. Okay, but you need a plan. You can't just show up and say, surprise, it's me, your actual wife. She had a point. If I wanted answers, I needed to be careful. Lily, what about Saturday night? There's a bar downtown, Midnight Lounge. Ever been? I knew he had. It was where we had our first date. A minute passed before his response came. Andrew, I know it well. Saturday night sounds perfect. I stared at the words, anger simmering in my chest. Perfect? No, Andrew. This wasn't going to be perfect. This was going to be a trap. The next 2 days were torture. Andrew carried on as if nothing had changed. He kissed me before work. He made dinner like always. He even sent me texts during the day. Miss you, babe. Can't wait for the weekend. Liar. Melissa helped me prepare. So, what's the plan? Are you going to confront him right away? I shook my head. Not immediately. First, I want to see if he recognizes me. If he even hesitates when he sees Lily. I chose my disguise carefully. A black dress, shorter than what I'd normally wear. A blonde wig. Red lipstick instead of my usual soft pink. The kind of look that made men do double takes. Saturday night came. I walked into Midnight Lounge, my heart hammering in my chest. The dim lighting cast shadows along the brick walls, the air thick with music and the scent of cocktails. And then, I saw him. Andrew sat at the bar, his back to me. He was dressed well. Dark button-up, sleeves rolled up just enough to show off his forearms. He checked his phone, then glanced around. Looking for her. Looking for me. I took a deep breath and stepped forward. Andrew? I said, pitching my voice slightly different than usual. He turned. His eyes met mine, and he smiled. A slow, interested smile. He didn't recognize me. My stomach dropped. Lily, he said smoothly. Wow, you're even more beautiful in person. I swallowed the lump in my throat. He has no idea who I am. Melissa had been right. This wasn't just flirting. This wasn't just a joke. My husband was really going to cheat on me, and he was about to do it with me. I stood there, my pulse hammering as Andrew's eyes swept over me. His smile was warm, inviting, hungry. He had no idea who I was. None. He thought I was Lily, a stranger he had met on a dating app, not his wife, not the woman he had promised to love and cherish. I forced a coy smile. You're even more handsome in person, too. He chuckled and gestured to the empty seat next to him. Well, I do try. Can I buy you a drink? I slid onto the bar stool, my dress riding up just slightly. Something the real me wouldn't do, but Lily? She would. Sure, surprise me. He signaled the bartender and ordered 2 whiskey sours, my favorite. I clenched my fists beneath the bar. So, he said, turning toward me, his gaze locking onto mine. Tell me more about you. What does a gorgeous woman like yourself do for fun? I sipped my drink, tasting the betrayal in every drop. I had spent years thinking I knew this man. Now I was seeing a version of him I never thought existed. I leaned in slightly, playing my part. Oh, I like a little danger, a little mystery. I let my lips curve into a slow smile. I like knowing secrets. He exhaled, his eyes darkening. God, that's sexy. I wanted to scream. Instead, I asked, and what about you, Andrew? What's your biggest secret? He smirked, sipping his drink. Maybe I'll tell you after another round. Oh, you'll be telling me everything, I thought bitterly. He reached out and brushed his fingers over mine. You have the softest hands. I yanked my hand away. Too fast. His brow furrowed slightly, but he recovered with another smile. Playing hard to get? I forced out a soft laugh. Maybe I just like the chase. He grinned. Now that's something I can appreciate. I fought the nausea rolling in my stomach. He was falling for it, every bit of it. But I wasn't done yet. I swirled my drink, pretending to hesitate. So, tell me something. I met his gaze, challenging him. Are you single? He didn't even flinch, didn't even blink. He just smiled, leaning in slightly. It's complicated. Complicated. I wanted to smash my glass into his lying, cheating face. Instead, I tilted my head, playing along. Oh? Complicated how? He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck like he was some good guy struggling with guilt. I'm in a relationship, but it's missing something. Missing something? My fingers dug into my thigh beneath the bar. I was this close to losing it. But I needed him to keep talking, so I pouted, lowering my voice. That's too bad. I wouldn't want to get in the way of something serious. His lips quirked up. Serious is a strong word. We've just been together a long time. I was his wife. Not some long-time fling, but he didn't see it that way. I had my answer. He was ready to cheat, ready to throw away our marriage for some thrill. And now? Now it was time to make him pay. I leaned closer, so close our faces were almost touching. His breath hitched. Then I whispered, You lying, cheating bastard. His eyes widened, confusion flashing across his face. And then, pure gut-wrenching horror. What? I smirked, reaching up to tug off my blonde wig. Surprise, honey. His face drained of color. His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Wait. I slammed my drink down, standing up. People were starting to stare. Melissa had been right. I couldn't just walk in here and say, surprise? But God, did it feel good. I grabbed my purse, glaring down at him. Enjoy your date, Andrew. I hope she was worth it. Then I turned on my heel and walked away, leaving my husband, or whatever he was now, completely wrecked in the middle of the bar. I walked out of that bar with my head held high, my heart pounding in my chest. The second I stepped outside, the cold night air hit me, but it did nothing to cool the fire raging inside me. Melissa was waiting by my car, practically bouncing on her toes. Oh my God, how did it go? I yanked off the wig and ran a hand through my hair, exhaling sharply. It was worse than I thought. Her eyes widened. What did he say? I scoffed. He told Lily, aka me, that our marriage was complicated. Like I'm some inconvenience in his life. And he didn't even hesitate, Mel. He was ready to go through with it. Melissa let out a long whistle. Wow, that is premium garbage behavior. I leaned against the car, pressing my fingers to my temples. I can't believe I've been sleeping next to a man who would do this to me. Who would lie to my face and then hit on another woman. Me, no less. She nudged my arm. Well, technically, you catfished your husband. I shot her a look. Don't defend him. Oh, I'm not. She held up her hands. Trust me, I am fully in support of public humiliation. She grinned. Speaking of which, what did he do when he realized it was you? I smirked despite the pain in my chest. Oh, he looked like he was going to vomit. Melissa gasped, eyes shining. You legend. I wished I could enjoy the moment, but the betrayal still weighed heavy on me. What now? Divorce? Marriage counseling? Burning all his clothes? Before I could think about it too much, my phone buzzed. Andrew. I sighed and showed the screen to Melissa. He's texting me. She rolled her eyes. Let me guess. Baby, it's not what it looks like. I unlocked my phone. Andrew, we need to talk. Please, just hear me out. Melissa groaned. Predictable. I exhaled slowly. As much as I wanted to ignore him, I needed to know what excuse he was about to pull out of thin air. I texted back. Me. I'll hear you out, but not over text. Meet me at home. I wasn't going to let him spin his lies through a screen. If he wanted to save this marriage, he'd have to face me. When I got home, I didn't have to wait long. 15 minutes later, Andrew walked through the door, looking like a man on death row. His face was pale, his shirt slightly wrinkled like he had been sweating through the drive home. Babe, he started. I held up a hand. Don't. He swallowed hard, shutting the door behind him. Okay, just let me explain. I folded my arms. Explain what, Andrew? That you were about to cheat on me? That you've been sneaking around on a dating app? He winced. I wasn't going to cheat. I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. Oh, really? Then what exactly were you planning to do with Lily tonight? His mouth opened, but no words came out. I nodded. That's what I thought. He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I wasn't thinking. It was stupid. I downloaded the app because He stopped himself. I narrowed my eyes. Because you what? He let out a breath. Because I felt bored, okay? My heart clenched. Bored? My voice was dangerously low. He threw his hands up. I don't mean with you. I mean, God, I don't even know how to explain it. I missed the thrill of something new. I stared at him, barely believing what I was hearing. So what? Our marriage isn't exciting enough for you? I didn't mean to hurt you, he said weakly. I let out a bitter laugh. Oh, well, that makes me feel so much better. He stepped closer, desperation in his eyes. I love you, okay? I never planned to do anything serious. It was just fun, I snapped. A thrill? He flinched. I shook my head, my throat tight. You humiliated me, Andrew. You made me feel like I wasn't enough, like our marriage wasn't enough. He looked devastated. That's not true. Then why did you do it? Silence. And there it was. The truth was, there was no excuse that would make this okay. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. I don't know if I can forgive this. Panic flashed across his face. Wait. I need time, I said, my voice firm. I need space. His shoulders sagged. Please don't give up on us. I didn't answer, because at that moment, I didn't know if there was an us anymore. Andrew stared at me like a man grasping at straws, desperate to undo what he had done. But there was no going back. I had seen him for what he really was. A liar, a cheater, a man who had been bored in our marriage and decided to seek excitement by sneaking around behind my back. I crossed my arms, forcing myself to keep my emotions in check. I told you. I need time, Andrew. He shook his head. I don't want time. I want us. I made a mistake, but I swear, I never would have. I scoffed. Never would have what, Andrew? Gone through with it? Because from where I was sitting, you were more than ready to take Lily home. His jaw tightened. He didn't have an argument, because he knew I was right. I love you, he whispered, voice thick with guilt. That hasn't changed. I inhaled sharply. It changed the moment you swiped right. He exhaled, rubbing his face. What do I have to do to fix this? I stared at him, taking in the man I once trusted, the man I once believed in. I didn't recognize him anymore. Leave. My voice was steady, even as my heart ached. I need space, and you need to figure out what kind of man you really are. His face crumpled. You're kicking me out? I nodded. Yeah, I am. Silence hung between us. Then, after a long pause, he nodded. Okay. And just like that, he turned and walked out the door. Melissa came over that night with wine and snacks, curling up on the couch beside me as I stared at the spot where Andrew had been standing just hours before. You okay? She asked gently. I let out a slow breath. I don't know. She handed me a glass of wine. Then let's drink until you do know. I huffed out a laugh, taking a sip. What if I never know? Melissa tilted her head. What's really holding you back? Is it him? Or the fear of starting over? I swallowed hard. Maybe it was both. I don't know how to be alone, I admitted quietly. Melissa squeezed my hand. You're not alone. I gave her a small smile, but deep down I knew the truth. This wasn't just about loneliness. This was about the fact that I had given my heart to someone who hadn't valued it, who had risked it all for the sake of a thrill. And no matter how much he begged, I didn't know if I could ever trust him again. The days after Andrew left were eerily quiet. For the first time in years, I had the apartment to myself. No more morning coffee conversations, no more stolen kisses before work, no more pretending that everything was okay. And yet, instead of feeling free, I felt watched. It started with small things, a flicker of movement outside my window when I closed the blinds at night. My phone buzzing with an unknown number, only for there to be silence on the other end. The feeling, deep in my gut, that someone was following me when I walked to my car. Melissa brushed it off at first. You're just on edge. It's the stress. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was just paranoid after everything that had happened. But then, one night, I found something that sent a chill down my spine. I had just come home from work, tossed my keys on the counter, walked into the bedroom. And that's when I saw it. A single red rose, lying in the center of my bed. A fresh, perfect rose. I hadn't bought it. No one had been in my apartment. Or at least, no one should have been. My stomach twisted. My breath turned shallow. Hands trembling, I reached for my phone and dialed Andrew's number. It rang once, twice. Then, he answered. Hello? His voice was low, careful. I swallowed hard. Did you come by my apartment? Silence. Then, after a long pause, I didn't leave the rose. The call ended. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. If Andrew didn't leave it, then who did?